Do you know what I'm eating right here? If you guessed cheesecake, you're halfway there. But what kind of cheesecake? Any ideas? Stay tuned and come along and help me make it. It's good. It's good. It's good. Okay. In my food processor, it's a 9-cup food processor. I have a sleeve of graham crackers and a couple handfuls of Snyder pretzels. That sweet and salty will make a really good crust. I'm going to turn the food processor on and get it all ground up. Here I have 2 teaspoons of light brown sugar, packed light brown sugar, and a pinch of salt. And we're going to add the contents of the food processor to this little bowl. Plus I have 4 teaspoons of unsalted butter that I've melted on the stove. So let's go ahead and get this going. Okay, that's a good consistency. I want to unplug it. Before I add anything in here to the brown sugar, it's best to break them up, those little teaspoons, because if you don't, it'll be hard to combine it with the butter and everything else. I'm gonna go ahead and take that out because it'll fall out if I don't get it out of the way first. We'll move you back. Okay. Okay. Take this out of the way and bring the butter over. I want to get this prepped before I prep my potatoes, and you can see bits and pieces of the pretzels in there because this needs to go into the freezer, the crust, when I put it in the pan. So I wanted to do this first. So here's my half a stick or 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. The recipe does call for unsalted butter because you already have that pinch of salt in the crust. You don't want to have a very salty crust, of course. And you just combine this just till you can mold it into the pan. Of course, your hands should be clean because you're going to be molding this into the pan with your hands. I guess you could use a spatula, but I always found it easier to do it with my hands. Okay. Got a little bit of the sugar there that formed on the spatula. I'm going to get it combined. I'm using 2 recipes. One is my standard Instant Pot cheesecake recipe, but then I found one for an Instant Pot sweet potato cheesecake. So I'm going to be using parts of both recipes to make this today. Now, here's my Fat Daddy-O pan. I do have the bottom part. I got it wrapped in parchment paper. And now I'm going to spray the sides with the pan. I'm going to spray the bottom of it too so that nothing will stick. So there, it's been sprayed. I'm going to move my recipes out of the way. And then you just dump your crust in there, and then you're going to mold it to the bottom and up the sides, and then you'll stick it in the freezer. This is the largest Fat Daddy-O pan that I could get for my 10-quart Instapot. Because usually when I make this recipe, I use a smaller pan. But the cheesecake ends up being so thick. So, so thick. So I decided to get wider pan so it won't be as thick. This is a pretty crust because again you can see bits and pieces of the pretzels and that sweetness and the saltiness of the graham crackers. That's the sweet part, and then the saltiness of the pretzels. Oh my goodness, it is so good. Get a closer, you can see the bits and pieces of pretzel. Now I'm just going to stick this just like this into the freezer. Now I have to puree my sweet potatoes. And all I did, I have a video on how to make the perfect baked potato. I did the same thing. Cleaned the potatoes first, poked holes in them with a fork, rubbed a little olive oil on it, put it on the foil on a cookie sheet. This ended up baking for an hour at 400 degrees. And I had preheated the oven to 400. I'm going to use this for trash. That was the bag that the potatoes were in. And I'm just going to put them in that bowl there after I have peeled them. And I looked at a couple Instapot cheesecake recipes, and both of them said to bake the sweet potatoes, not to boil them. So that's what I did. And I think I'm going to end up with more sweet potatoes than what I need. So what I'll do is save that, and I'll either have some mashed sweet potatoes or I'll make something else. I have a sweet potato brownie recipe I might make if I have enough left over for that. Or maybe a sweet potato cobbler. I wasn't sure if I was going to make the sweet potato cheesecake or sweet potato cake. It's like the cupcakes I made, I don't know, a couple months ago. There was a video on that. I'll link it in the description. Or I found a recipe for sweet potato bread. Again, I just had these 3 sweet potatoes that I needed to use up. So I was trying to figure out what to make with them. And we haven't had a cheesecake in a while. So I gave the choices to my brother. Sweet potato cake, sweet potato cupcake, cheesecake or bread. And he said cheesecake. For the same reason I just said, oh, we haven't had cheesecake in a while, and I've never had a sweet potato cheesecake, so here we are. And I think, because I'm getting rid of too much flesh there. I'm supposed to puree this, making a mess over here. So I think I'm going to put it back I'm going to rinse out my food processor, get the graham cracker crumbs out of the container, and I think I'm going to put it in there to puree it. And that'll break up all the strings. Now I'm back, but I didn't bring all of the food processor. That's not gonna work. Here's my 3 potatoes. Just gonna break it up a little bit before I put it in there. I'm gonna have to wash my hands again. No biggie. And it says I'm supposed to have 3/4 cup, I believe, of potato. Let me look at that. I'm looking from a distance, so I can't see. Yeah, 3/4 of a cup. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna end up with more than 3/4 of a cup. So I'll be making something else, or again, I'll just be eating mashed sweet potatoes. Okay, I did not do that right. There we go. Let me look at some. Yep, 3/4 cup. Okay, move that over so you can see. Where am I looking for? Utensil. I have a spatula right here. Okay. You know what? I'm not trying to be funny. Oh, I didn't mean for it to fall. But I'm done with it. Next time I make sweet potatoes, sweet potato pie, I think I might be doing this. It's so easy. Okay. Take that off, put it in the sink. Okay. Unplug it. Sit you there for a minute, move you out of the way. Now, let's assemble everything we're going to need for the cheesecake filling. We've done the crust. Now it's time to work on the actual cheesecake filling. Okay, I'm going to need some spices. Cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove, and vanilla. Oh, that's still on. Jeez. Something. Oh man, I broke my dog nabbit. See, my dumb behind. Thought I had turned that off. Over here cooking a cookie sheet. That was stupid. This whole time I smelled something like it was burning. I was like, was that coming from my kitchen? I'm gonna show you what I did. I think I ruined this cookie sheet. I had this on the eye that I melted the butter on. So that was the bottom cookie sheet. And it went to this one too. So I'm gonna have to get some new ones because I don't trust these now. Oh, nabbit. I'm gonna look. I think I got another. Oh, good. I do. I have two more down here. Pays to buy in bulk. I had two more. Those other two I'm gonna pitch. And learn, check your eyes and make sure everything's turned off before you set stuff on it. Good night. Okay. I'm going to add the cream cheese and granulated sugar. Okay. We add the eggs last. Okay. And this one calls for half a cup sugar, the other for 2/3 cup. I'm gonna use 2/3 cup. And the 16 ounces of cream cheese, which I do have sitting out right here. It's at room temperature. Man, I can't believe I ruined those cookie sheets. Those are the cookie sheets my little brother likes to make cookies on every week. But thankfully, Foresight had me buy 4 of them. They were on sale and I liked them so much. Went and bought 3 more after I bought the first one. And I'm very thankful that I did. Okay. I can't get that too. Need a knife. Even though the cream cheese is softened, it'll be easier to combine if I put it in here in pieces instead of just one big block. So that's why I did that. Stuff happens in the kitchen, family. You gotta roll with it. Okay. And you use 16 ounces of cream cheese, and each of these are 8 ounces, so you need 2 blocks. And I'm using this knife upside down because this is a very sharp knife. And I don't want to cut myself. I already ruined 2 cookie sheets. You know? Okay. 2/3 cup of sugar. I'm going to take this with me and I need 2 pinches of salt. 2 pinches of salt, 2/3 cup white granulated sugar, and 16 ounces of cream cheese. I also do the vanilla. As for 2 tablespoons, or teaspoons, I'm going to do 3, which is a tablespoon. I just didn't want to dirty up a tablespoon measure because I already dirtied up this teaspoon. Both recipes, the last thing you add as far as the normal batter are the eggs, and you add them one at a time. So I'm going to do that last. Well, actually, no. Now you add the eggs in now. Okay, I need the sour cream. Going to need that. I'm using basically my main recipe. I'm going to follow it first. And then I'll add the sweet potato and spices. 2 tablespoons cornstarch. This is a tablespoon. Gotta check, already messed up some cookie sheets. Making a mess with the cornstarch, as I always do. Half a cup of sour cream. That's the thing, when you find recipes, you kind of wing it and you have to figure out what part of each recipe you like. And you make a judgment call on what you're going to use. I'm normally not this messy. And I don't burn up my equipment. I don't know what it is. I'm just scatterbrained today. But it happens to us all, doesn't it, sometimes? Let's put this sour cream up in case I decide to drop that or something. It was a brand new bag, so we don't want to do that. Okay, let me get another towel. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the seasonings. Shake them up first to redistribute. This is a cinnamon. I need 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Since I used my teaspoon, I'm just scoop. I'm gonna use, this is a 4th teaspoon, so I need 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then I need half a teaspoon ground nutmeg. So it's 2 of those 1/4 teaspoons. And I need 1/4 of a teaspoon ground cloves. Okay, let me get these spices out of the way. Okay, and then I need the sweet potatoes, 3/4 of a cup. Going to use my little trusty measuring cup because of this line here. is 3/4 of a cup, because this is a cup. And yes, I broke the handle, but I like it. I can put this flour back up. I'm not going to use it. We're gonna call it 3/4 of a cup. And I'm going to combine this, and then the last thing will be to add the 2 large eggs. And we add them one at a time. And you mix till just combined with the eggs. It looks good. I thought I was going to need more sweet potato, but I don't. Just scraping the sides and down in the bottom. I want to make sure everything is getting incorporated. I'm going to turn it off. Let's reach for the wrong spatula. I'm gonna get a little spoon or something because I want to taste this, see what it tastes like, see if it needs anything. I opted for a knife because I can turn it over and do the other side. Taste test if I need to. That is really good. Wow. Holy crow. I don't think I've tasted anything like that before. But I wonder, 3/4 cup. Yeah, it needs some more sugar. It's not quite sweet enough for me. So I'm gonna add a little more sugar. The one recipe asked for 3/4 cup, and the other one said 2/3. So, just gonna add a little bit. Okay, use the other end. I'll taste test it. Yeah. It needed a little bit more sugar. So next time I make this, I will do 3/4. I might even do a cup of sugar. But I don't know. A cup might be a little too much. I'm gonna mix it just a little bit more. Because I want to make sure that the sugar I added is getting incorporated. Okay. Unplug it. Move that out of the way. Well, let me bring it. I always do that. Because I got to get stuff off the attachment first. I wish they'd make a mixer where you could push some kind of button and everything will come off the attachment automatically. This is what it looks like, family. Now, I got to move all this stuff. That knife's going into the trash. Move all this out of the way. Get my crust out. Here's my Instapot. This is the 10 quart. I put this up. And it says to put 1.5 cups of water in there, so we'll do that right now. Take it over to the sink and do that. You need at least 1 cup of liquid, in this case water, in your Instapot whenever you're using it. That helps the pot to get up to pressure. And I have my little, I'm using my trivet. And what I'll do is move that out of the way. Move the Instant Pot over so you can see it. Well, before I do that, let me get the crust out of the freezer. Here's our crust. Now we just pour the batter into the crust. Make sure everything's incorporated down there. And now we can pour this in. Oh, I'm so glad I was able to find the 10-quart Instapot. Somebody was selling it on Facebook Marketplace because they don't make them anymore. Don't know why. And then when I got it, I said I need a bigger cheesecake pan, and I like the Fat Daddy-O pans for making the cheesecakes. I think my siblings are going to be disappointed that it's not going to be a really thick cheesecake like they're used to, but it's going to be wider than they're used to. And if they like this, which I do already, but I'm the cheesecake fiend out of the three of us, I'll have enough of the sweet potatoes to make another one. I'm trying to get all this batter out of there. I don't like leaving hardly anything in my mixing bowls, which is funny. As kids, you know, my mom would make cakes or whatever, and we would fight over who gets to lick the bowl, so she would leave a little something in there. But we're old goats now. Nobody cares to lick the bowl, so, and I don't want stuff to go to waste. So I try to get as much of the batter out and into the baking pan as I can. So that's what I'm doing now. And then just like with bundt cakes, you need to shake the pan around, tap it to get any air bubbles out. So that's what I'm going to do now. Oh, it filled the pan quite nicely. See, I made a mess there. I'll get to clean that up. Let me get a towel now, clean that up. Because I'm going to have my Instapot there. I don't want anything to be in the way to get on that. Okay. Now the one recipe, she wrapped it all in foil. The whole thing. I don't know if I want to do that because it prevents water from condensing, whatever the word is, on the batter, but you're going to get water on there anyway. So I'm not going to do that. I don't think. Should I? Gosh, I don't know. Wow. I'm not going to. What I am going to do is take my trivet out. It'll be easier if I put the pan there. I'm going to move this over. Pick it up. I already tested it. Will fit in here with that on. So, can you guys see that? You can see that. Okay. Then we plug it in. Well, let's plug it in first. We're going to make sure I got my ring on there. Put it on sealing, and we cook it on pressure cook for 30 minutes on high. And that's it. Now I can clean up. I'm gonna move this over because my little brother likes to use that side. There you can see it's on. Always double check that it's on sealing. And we'll be back when it's ready. Keep your fingers crossed, family. But I think we're gonna be okay with this one. Okay, it's done and it's been naturally releasing for 28 minutes now. There's no pressure to release, so we can go ahead and open it. Need 2 pot holders to take it out. Turn it around that way. Okay, let's take the cheesecake out of the Instapot. It finished its cook time and it released all the pressure. Okay, there it is. And it does have some water. Just take a towel to dab it up. So now let's take the cheesecake off the trivet. I have to use the pots. The pan's still a little hot to the touch. There we go. And get the trivet out of the way. Now I'm going to get a towel to sit it on. There we go. And there it is. Turn it around a little bit. And now I'm going to mix the topping. And this is sour cream and sugar. And I'll put the measurements in the description. Just mixing it all together. Move the cheesecake over a little bit. And you can see where it's starting to come away from the pan there. Now, this is easy. You just put the topping on there and you smooth it across the cheesecake. And you can adjust the amount of topping. You can put more or less. Just depends on your taste preferences. I'm not a froster by any means. Not a professional baker or anything like that. But this, I find, is easy to do. Because I'm just doing the top. Now I'm just turning the pan around a little bit as I use the spatula to spread the topping across. Now there was another recipe for a sweet potato cheesecake, and they actually top it with, it was a mixture of brown sugar, and pecans, I believe. So that's an option. But I wanted to stick with a pure cheesecake, so I just chose the sour cream and sugar option for the topping. I was going to put it on the plate, but I said, nah, I'm going to leave it on the towel when we put it in the fridge. And that's where it's going now. Okay, I'm going to take the cheesecake out of the fridge. Here it is. And as you can see, it's come away from the sides really well. This jar, it's just an empty glass jar. And that's how I will use, that's what I will use to get the bottom part off. You just sit it on top and push down. Be careful because you will smash your fingers if you go too fast, and your pinky fingers will get smashed to the counter. I've done that before, and yes, it hurts. I need a plate to sit that on. Forget that part. Actually, not a plate. I'm gonna put it in the fridge on one of the box keepers. And let's see, I should be able to get that off too. This is the, the part we wrapped with parchment paper. I usually don't take it off, but I'm always worried about people putting it in the trash. So decided to take it off. Came off rather easily. Okay. Not too much trapped in there. Put that in the sink. It's a pretty cheesecake. There's the cheesecake, family. And you see how the crust is up the entire side of the cheesecake? I like that. Taste test. I'm just gonna cut it all the way across, halfway. My hands are clean. Again, don't be in the kitchen cooking or baking with dirty hands. I don't want a really big piece because I haven't eaten anything yet today. You see how it's set up really well. I don't let anything go to waste. So scrape that off the knife. And just sit it there. I'll wash the counter off. There's the close pick. You can see some of the spices that we used. Now, I like the crust, so let me get some of the crust. Oh my. This tastes like a sweet potato pie. It really does. And you can taste the spices. We had a local bakery called Roslyn Bakery, and they made gingerbread men at Christmas, and this is kind of what it tastes like. It's like a sweet potato pie married to gingerbread man, and they had a baby. And that's what it tastes like. Wow, I like it. Well, that's it, family. Sweet potato cheesecake. You should make it. It's good. I like it. I'm gonna make it again. I'm gonna add a little bit more sugar though. I think I'm gonna go for a full cup next time. I used a little bit more than 3/4 of a cup. I'll use a whole cup. But I have a big sweet tooth, so if you haven't already, please like the video, leave a nice comment, and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all of your support. It's a good one, guys. Give it a try. All the best, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.